Raise your fists together. I am somebody. I may be poor, but I am somebody.
Red and yellow, brown, black, and white. We're all precious in God's sight. Everybody is somebody. Stop the violence. Save the children. Stop bullying. Save the children.
Hold your head high. Stick your chest out. You can make it. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive.
Hi, I'm Dr. Sonia Whitaker, National Education Policy Director for Push for Excellence. And on behalf of the Rainbow Push Coalition, we'd like to thank you so much for giving of your gift of time and joining us here on our Saturday morning forum. We'd like to thank Word Network for bringing you to us and us to you. And yet we recognize that there are many of you that are watching us right now on Facebook Live. If you're doing so, we'd like to ask that you like our page. And for the many of you that are watching us now on YouTube Live, we'd like to ask that you subscribe to our page so that you may gain immediate access to all of the content that we have in store for you. And speaking of content, we can't do this without you. We need your financial support, and we've made it really easy for you to give. In fact, you may choose from one of 3 different options. You can simply pick up that cell phone of yours right now and hold it to the QR code and give right on the spot. And if you prefer, you can take that same cell phone of yours and simply text the word PUSH to 41444. Text PUSH to 41444. Or you can simply go to our website at rainbowpush.org and click on the donate button. Now, whatever you do, do not move, do not touch that dial, because we're going to be right back. The push is on.
Chicago voters headed to the polls this morning to decide who will be the city's next mayor.
I mean, anytime you have 9 candidates, it makes it a little bit more difficult because there are, sometimes just 1 or 2 things that separate the candidates. So, yeah, I would say it was fairly difficult.
Issues like public safety, equity, and taxes at the top of the list for many at the ballot box.
Taxes, the property taxes. That's more important than anything besides the crimes.
I think investment in our communities, inclusion of traditionally left out and forgotten about groups is going to be an incredibly important issue. No matter who makes it to the runoff, I think, once we get to that point, that's what's going to be the most important issue for me.
Voter Laura Stukas says stopping the violence is paramount.
I've lived downtown for 20 years. I'm a born and raised Chicagoan, and I don't like the way my city looks anymore. So things have to change.
This morning, Reverend Jesse Jackson voted at the super site in the Loop, saying education is his top issue.
We vote today, Pastor will make a statement. Whoever's in the runoff has to deal with education.
Meanwhile, there are also races for aldermen in all 50 wards. This morning, election officials say they're pleased with voter turnout so far. Almost 18% of more than 1.5 million registered Chicago voters have already cast a ballot citywide. With more than 100,000 vote-by-mail ballots that have not been returned, it could be a few days until we know the results of many races.
This is Bishop Tavis Grant, the Acting National Executive Director of the Rainbow Push Coalition, and this is State of the Movement. Here in Chicago, we've just finished a historic opportunity to utilize the Democratic option, the mayoral race, the aldermanic race, and then 22 districts, new district councils that will afford everyday citizens to participate in the decisions and the management and oversight of public safety and law enforcement. The fundamentals of our democracy rest in our accessibility to the voting booth. And it's not who you vote for, it's that you vote. So many Americans across the country use this as an opportunity to weaponize, demonize, and demoralize the whole idea of participating in making this a much more perfect union. From east to west, north to south, we must begin the process of engaging, equipping, and empowering people with the knowledge, the information, and the know-how to participate in this democracy. When you don't vote, it is a vote. And it is so critical in this area of culture, conditioning, and grooming, of causing us to turn on each other, rather to each other, to realize that Dr. King was right. Either we will die apart as fools or learn to live together as wise. Our challenge in the work of Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson and the Rainbow Push Coalition is from community to community, corner to corner, block to block, to engage this culture and this generation with the need and the imperative to make sure that we protect the most sacred opportunity in America. Is not the highest office called the president, it is that of the citizen. And you have these opportunities. This is the reason why we're fighting for automatic universal voting opportunities. Like in the state of Minnesota, when you turn 16, you automatically are registered to vote. This takes the gaming out of the system. This marginalizes the influence of finance, and it affords the common person to walk into the booth and utilize the power of the ballot. Yes, your vote matters. Yes, voting matters. And when you do it, you can take a center stage in making sure that your community, your family, and your rights are protected. This is State of the Movement.
When I think of Rainbow Push, I think of two words: social justice.
Education advocacy.
Political empowerment.
Freedom and equality.
Global humanitarian.
Evolutionary, revolutionary.
Political change.
Inclusion, evolution. Push Excel.
Progress, justice.
Jesse Jackson.
Keep hope, keep alive. Keep hope, keep alive.
Love divisiveness.
Equality and perseverance.
Corporate partnership.
People united.
Push yes.
I'm Otis Moss III.
I'm Frederick Douglass Haynes III.
And we are here simply just to say to you about an incredible organization known as Operation Push.
Can I be admitted? No, sir, you cannot be admitted. Why? I am not going to serve you.
Because of my race? Operation Push has been here for us even when we didn't know it. As a matter of fact, a lot of the doors that you walk through is because of the fact that somebody knocked those doors down.
I am somebody. I may be poor, but I am somebody.
And because of Operation Push, when it started as Operation Breadbasket, after the assassination of Dr. King, they decided to build an organization that were people united to save humanity.
Just what is Operation Push?
Well, Operation Push is a civil economics organization. It's a religious organization with an economic mission. And we believe that the black church is the political and spiritual salvation of our people. And it is to that extent that we challenge churches and churchmen to get involved.
And so we are simply asking those who have been blessed by Push to join the movement.
That's right. And if you do that, I promise you, you are blessing the next generation. And that's what we need, generationally, to bless those who come behind us, just as those before us made sure that we could have what we have. That's Operation Push, pushing doors open. But we can't push if we don't have your hand involved.
We want run on the water. We want to sell the clothes. We want to sell the cars. We want to be men. We want self-determination.
And it was Jesse Jackson who was the young man of the movement and now is an elder statesman. And we've got to make sure that we have another generation that will be pushing forward, another generation that will be building an Operation Breadbasket, another generation that will be talking about new economic strategies for those who are poor.
And ensuring that we are never politically disenfranchised. I hope you already recognize that there is a movement afoot to rob us of what we fought so hard for and shed blood for, and that is the right to express our voice through voting.
If blacks vote in great numbers, progressive whites win. It's the only way progressive whites win. If blacks vote in great numbers, Hispanics win. When blacks, Hispanics, and progressive whites vote, women win. When women win, children win. When women and children win, workers win. We must all come up together. We must come up together.
We need you in Rainbow Push to make sure we are politically empowered and enfranchised.
There is no other organization like Rainbow Push, and we encourage you to make sure that you join and financially support. If we don't support it, no other organization will. It is our duty, it is our job to support our organizations.
We got to do it. Grassroots organization, hitting the streets and challenging those in the suites. That's Operation Push.
I like that. I'm Reverend Otis Moss III.
Hey, I'm Frederick D. Haynes III. He's rubbing off on me.
Make sure you join Operation Push, Rainbow Push, today.
Keep hope alive.
Wall Street 2023, March 20th and 21st, on the New York Stock Exchange for the entire day. We're going to be in New York, from procurements to contracts to investment technology, professional services, banking, capital reinvestment projects. The list goes on and on and on. You go to rainbowpush.org and know more, and register for that conference. And let me tell you something, they're going fast. And so you need to go to Eventbrite right now and register if you're involved in any facet of finance, economics, money, wealth creation, wealth building. Wall Street 2023 is for you. Go right now to rainbowpush.org or Eventbrite. Register, get your ticket. I'm telling you, the guests, the CEOs, the people that are going to be made available to you. Go now to I'm telling you, the tickets are going. I'm just telling
and look,
you,
the East
people
Coast,
buy them in bundles.
Don't let the East Coast outbuy the Midwest. All of you should go, especially right around that East Coast, Baltimore, New York, New Jersey. I know Reverend Cassius Rudolph, you ought to be at Wall Street this year. We'll just call him out.
Bishop Calvin Rice right there in Queens, New York. You need to be at Wall Street. Listen, your name means a lot to you. Your brand means a lot to you. Go to www.rainbowpush. Get that ticket right now and join us at Wall Street 2023.
Push Excel's goal is to inspire students to strive for excellence in education in spite of personal, family, and community challenges that they might experience. How do we do this? By advocating for educational policies that guarantee equal funding for all students without regard to race or economic standing. By engaging parents, students, and teachers in pursuing high-quality education and striving for educational excellence at every level. And by forging partnerships with community-based and public sector stakeholders in education. Now, Push Excel is a national model program with the purpose of connecting principals, parents, popular personalities, and students in a bond, and to support students at every level on the educational ladder. Now, we want you to become a member of the Rainbow Push Coalition and Push Excel. Your annual membership can help us to change policies that impact students, colleges, and universities all around the country. So step up and sign up today. Membership is only $35, and if you're a student or a senior, $15. Just go to our website, rainbowpush.org, and push join to become a member, or push donate to support the Push Excel program. You can also text the word Push Excel, that's PUSHEXCEL, to 41444. on your cell phone, and you can give us any amount that you feel comfortable giving or call us at 773-256-2775. Wherever you are, you can support us as we keep pushing for you. And remember to keep hope alive.
When you shop, Amazon gives. Visit Amazon Smile and select Push for Excellence as your charitable organization by starting your shopping at smile.amazon.com.
Welcome to Spotlight on Education. I'm so happy to be back with you because our Education Policy Director has been on the road again. And I want her to tell you where in the world she's been for the last 3 weeks.
Wow, wow, it feels so good to be back home. I have had the great honor of taking the work that we do at Push for Excellence and talking to many people across our country about the wonderful things that we're doing here while also contributing to the field of education. I've had the honor to advocate on Capitol Hill along with various members of the National School Board Association, and we were advocating for things which we'll talk more about, like equity and funding, particularly as it relates to special education and as it relates to ensuring that all students have equitable access to a quality education. I also just got back from San Antonio, Texas, where I spent time at the National Superintendents Association conference.
It's interesting that you're in San Antonio. There's a very rich case, San Antonio versus Rodriguez versus the Board of Education in San Antonio, this case was about what you talked about, equal funding for every child. And there have been some studies, which are just erroneous studies, that said if you had more money, it would not help poor children achieve, which is wrong. And so the people in the school district in San Antonio many decades ago argued, as many people are arguing today, it's not about money, it's all about the children are just not capable of learning. And that we want you to know is not true. And so I'm so glad you were there lobbying in the Capitol.
Absolutely, and it's important. We have to show up and show out, so to speak.
Yeah, and so one of the things when we talk about equal funding for every child to have a high quality public education, we're gonna break it down for you. What does equal funding mean to you?
First of all, I think it's important to recognize not just equal funding, but equitable funding, making sure that all students, as opposed to every student getting the same level of access, we want the school districts to have the opportunity through the federal government to make sure that the funding is based on need. Poor students need more.
They need more. They're running a race, but they're starting. Like if you're running a relay race, you can't win a race easily if you are running several miles or yards behind everyone else. If you start back, then you have to have some resources to help you get up to the starting line. And so many poor children, Black and brown mostly, are not at the starting line. So they're starting behind, and we have to help them catch up. How do you do that? You get more resources.
Absolutely.
Our poor schools in poor communities don't have the same technology.
No.
The buildings are still old. They have not been upgraded to even be able to access the technology. What about teacher training?
When I say teacher training, it goes back to the funding. At the end of the day, you have to have funds to pay for teaching training. In school districts serving majority minority, they deserve access to the best and the bright leaders of this work. And sometimes they don't always get it because limited funds are allocated toward professional development. I've seen that with my own eyes.
And so let's take a school that has 20% of the students are homeless. What do they need in order for those homeless children who have no home to go to? How do we bring them up to equitable standards?
Well, first of all, I think we have to raise the knowledge of those teachers about what types of resources that they can make available to those students. So our teachers, as hard as they're working, can't just do the work of teaching reading, writing, and arithmetic. They've got to know where can they go to get a dentist to come to the property and offer services for free, who are doing those type of things on behalf of their communities so that the students can be serviced.
So if I can't see the board, I won't be able to read the board, and I won't be able to do the work. If I'm homeless, you can't send me homework because where do I do homework? And so the community has to be You know, if you go to affluent neighborhoods, the whole school community is working on helping the children succeed. All of the children are not bright, but every child has someone pushing forward meeting their needs, and we don't have that in under-resourced neighborhoods and communities. And so the communities have to begin to look at, what does my school need?
Absolutely.
In order for every child in that building to be successful.
And that makes me think about the term wraparound services.
Wraparound.
The wraparound services that look like, as has been indicated, the dentist appointments. That means help with glasses. That who is finding out who is available to offer mental health services, not just to the students, but to the parents of those students that you serve as well. Wraparound services are key.
And you have to have a social worker available, not one day a week. You need social workers there every day in the school, because then they can help the teachers and the principal and the administrators know where to make referrals for students to get the support they need. The businesses in those school communities have to step up. Children should not leave school only having had breakfast at school, lunch at school, and no dinner coming. We have to make sure that every child has access to high quality public education. So you've been all around the country, still traveling. So what are the 3 things you think every child needs to be able to function at scale?
Well, the first thing that I think about is Maslow's theory of hierarchy, which would suggest that the first thing that we need is food. Then the next thing they need is shelter, which includes access to water. And then they need clean water, right? And they need access to a caring educator who can help provide them with not just the academic, but the social experiences that they need to be successful, not just in school, but successful in life as well.
And we need services that will help the parents of these children be able to support their children effectively. And so they need resources. They need opportunities to have job training at the school building or in the neighborhood. We have to become, as communities, focused. When you go to affluent neighborhoods like Barrington and Neuqua Valley, there's a sign that says, "Welcome to Neuqua Valley." It's the name of the school. We run from neighborhoods with schools because we say, oh, those children are gone. We don't want to buy property in front of our school buildings. We have to make our schools the centers of the community, coupled with the park district, coupled with the businesses that are in that footprint. All of us have to work together because we're preparing the next generation. And in order to do that, we have to connect to them. We have to be proximate to their needs. And that's what Push Excel is all about. We've got something coming up, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. We want to make sure that you mark your calendars for March the 9th. As you are aware, Push Excel hosts our critical thinking series entitled Reimagining America's Education Agenda, where the event that we have planned for you, and it is virtual and it is online. You can register at pushexcel.org. The event that we have for you is going to be focused on STEM education. In fact, I must admit, I love the title for this event. It is entitled The Audacity to Close the STEM Education Gap. And we're going to have rock star panelists that are going to talk to you, not just about the problem that exists with the lack of black and brown students gaining access to STEM education, but they're going to talk to you about what they are actually doing to close that gap. And we're going to highlight our very own STEM program, right?
Yeah, this Saturday, it's like today at Push Excel headquarters in Chicago, 930 East 50th Street. We're doing an open house. We want you to understand that we're launching a major STEM program. It's esports, it's coding, it's robotics, it's how to program a drone. But the esports is really important because we're teaching young people, as we prepare for NASCAR coming, we're going to do a virtual NASCAR. Our children will compete. It's going to be a national competition hosted by Push Excel. What are you saying? I'm telling you that our children will learn all about the industry of NASCAR. How do you build a NASCAR racer? So you'll equip one virtually. Our students will learn about the fuel that they will need to complete the race. They'll learn about the tires and how do you fix your car to make sure that it has the appropriate wind velocity and it's built a certain way. They're going to design cars. They're going to learn all kinds, and they're going to build teams. They're going to coordinate the team. They will have a pit crew. I mean, it's going to be amazing. Right at Push Excel headquarters, 930 East 50th Street. You must want your child ages 8 to 18 We want your child to join us. And we're doing it in Chicago just to launch it, but by the summer, we want this all across the country. If you want to be a part of our Push Excel, a STEM program, you need to call us right now at 773-373-3366. It is going to be phenomenal. Go to pushexcel.org and you'll get more information. I am so excited about
I'm excited. We got a lot going on.
And I know you all have been watching the 1619 Project. You all have heard about the failure to teach African American history in some public schools. Well, we have an after-school virtual history curriculum in partnership with Virtual Learning Systems. You're going to be able to get our African American history curriculum online. And we're asking pastors, we're asking organizations, if you want to teach it in your Saturday program, as we will, give us a call. We want to have our virtual learning curriculum online for everyone, everywhere. And we're asking school systems to take an opportunity to use the virtual learning curriculum. And students will be, it's so phenomenal.
It is.
Students will be able to go inside the pyramid in this virtual curriculum. They will be able to really feel like they're there, wherever it is. They're going to do some archaeological digs virtually. You don't want to miss this. You want your child to be involved. 5 years old to 18 years old is our starting point. It's going to be phenomenal. It's a great experience. And so teachers, parents, we're going to launch it on March 18th. We got a whole lot of stuff happening in March.
We got a lot going on.
A lot in March. We want you to be a part of March. And we also have Women's History Month, which is March. And we're going to talk about some outstanding women that you have never heard of. We're not going to do the regular ones, but we're going to have our oratorical students share with you the rich history that women have provided to this country called America and this world that all of us live in.
So there you have it, Spotlight on Education. To say that we have a lot going on would be an understatement. But we don't want you to just watch us on Saturday. We want you to get involved. We are looking forward to having your all hands on deck. We need you to volunteer. We need you to contribute. And most importantly, we want you to keep hope alive because the push is on.
So all educators join us. All parents, you need to join us. Everybody, students, join us as we keep pushing for you.
Thank you.
January 10th, Governor Pritzker signed the assault weapons ban into law. While we hold space for the victims and survivors of Highland Park, we must not forget the survivors, victims, and advocates on the south and west side of Chicago. For years, faith and community leaders have advocated to ban assault weapons that have devastated our neighborhoods. We've worked with our partners on this issue, such as OneAIM. However, today, we celebrate our heroes who have worked tirelessly to address gun violence and are too often overlooked and underappreciated. They've uplifted banning assault weapons for a decade or more, and we honor them for their labor.
Hello, I'm Reverend Ira J. Ackery, the pastor of Greater St. John Bible Church and one of the founders of the Leaders Network Chicago. I want to express my gratitude for every faith leader, every community activist who put in the sweat, blood, and tears to help bring about this ban of assault weapons in the state of Illinois. We started out in 2012. Some very dear friends of mine and colleagues, Reverend Marshall Hatch, Reverend Cy Fields, Reverend Gregory Seal Livingston, Reverend Marcinia Richardson, Reverend Dr. Jeanette Wilson, so many others have played a role, and for this, we're ever so grateful. God bless you.
We're excited to get more people engaged and involved in Rainbow Push, supporting the programs of Push for Excellence and the Citizenship Education Fund. Now, if you're interested in public policy and you want to help change the policies that impact those who are incarcerated, you can do so. If you're interested in impacting public policies that benefit education and businesses with social economic solutions, you can do that as well. You can become a policymaker by becoming a member of Rainbow Push right now. Now, if you believe in the scholarships that we've given to thousands of students each year, you can help us out. We've awarded more than $10 million in scholarships year to date. Now, you can help young people achieve a higher education by becoming a member of Rainbow Push right now for the annual fee of only $35. And if you're a student or a senior, it's only $15. You can help us make a difference in the lives of millions. Now, if you watch us every week, or if you listen to us on the radio, or if you're viewing on social media, we need you to become a member. And how do you become a member? It's simple. Visit us at rainbowpush.org and press join. Maybe you'd like to support the work of Push. If so, it's really simple. You can do so by texting the word PUSH, that's P-U-S-H, to 41444 on your cell phone, and you can give any amount that you feel comfortable giving, or you can call us at 773-256-2775 or go to rainbowpush.org and push donate. So whenever you want to support, you can do it from anywhere. So keep pushing, because we're going to keep pushing for you and keep hope alive.
We need your support. Here are ways to give to Rainbow Push Coalition. Text PUSH, P-U-S-H, to 41444 to support the work of Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. and Rainbow Push Coalition.
Get involved with the movement.
Somebody. I may be poor, but I am somebody.
Join the movement.
If you're not a member, become a member.
I am somebody.
Fighting the most important battles for freedom and justice for all.
You made us change. Oh, trying to bring closer.
Join Rainbow Push.
But you're not pushing me away.
Join the movement. Join Rainbow Push.
Facing yourself. The right to be in this court. Come on, let's go. We have a right to be in this court. This program belongs to all the citizens of the county. We have a right to be here and will not in any way be interfering with the pursuit of traffic.
To be detrimental to your safety to continue this march, and I'm saying that this is an unlawful assembly. You are to disperse. You are ordered to disperse, go home, or go to your church. This march will not continue. Troopers here, advance toward the group. See that they disperse.
This is Bishop Tavis Grant, the Acting National Executive Director of the Rainbow Push Coalition. I want to thank you for joining us for our Saturday morning forum. You know, each week we bring information and we bring engagement, and it is for the purpose of you becoming involved in all that we do. I want you to go to the bottom of that screen to www.rainbowpush.org and become a part of the fastest growing civil rights army on the planet. Today, Reverend Dr. Jeanette Wilson and I are going to be talking about, this is Bloody Sunday weekend. Some 50 years ago, John Lewis and what they call the foot soldiers, going across Edmund Pettus Bridge, having horses and dogs and fire hoses unleashed on them in front of the American public, perhaps the first time on American television, international television, seeing that kind of mayhem and brutality up close and personal. It really struck a chord with the American public.
Yeah, and the thing is, remember, they were marching from Selma to Montgomery for the Voting Rights Act. It wasn't that they were just having some meaningless march. And for someone to put some water hoses and dogs and men, they had the men on horseback, it's like the cavalry, to prevent these marchers who were kneeling to pray at the center of the bridge before, when they saw the, and these were police officers and sheriff's police, when they saw them coming at them directly, they kneeled to pray, and they still beat them in the head. Miss Amelia Boynton was hit in the head.
I guess many people don't
John
know
Lewis,
the synergy of John Lewis, the Freedom Bus Riders, and at that time, what may have been considered Dr. King and the civil rights establishment. Many people saw them as polar opposites, and they really were just working from their different vantage points. You had these buses traveling through the South with whites and blacks, crossing state lines, crossing county lines, young, progressive, black, Jewish. I mean, it was something to be seen.
And they were only going to help people register, help them pass these literacy tests that were across the South, where in order to register to vote or to vote, you had to count the number of beans in a jar. You had to answer all kind of ridiculous questions. And so you had preachers, students, college students from around the country were going to the South to help get the vote out, get people engaged in voting. And so when I think about Bloody Sunday and all of those people that died on the Edmund Pettus Bridge, that's why every year we go back at this time, March the 7th, the 4th and the 7th, to really look at, remember the lives that were lost, the bodies that were bruised on Bloody Sunday.
And I guess when you look at, we often have to tell people, history is not scheduled, it's made. Bloody Sunday was not atypically, as we schedule marches and demonstrations, we say on X date we're going to do this. This was one of those moments that in and of itself became historical because of what was at stake. People wanting to exercise their right, their democratic constitutional right to vote, their right to protest. So much was on the table: freedom of speech, freedom to organize, all these constitutional issues.
And if you've never been to Selma or
oh my
Montgomery,
gosh,
and to
you need to go.
Bridge, you must go and see. Here you have
it's a rite of passage.
A body of people. Selma's not a rich place. It's a very small town where poverty is still high. And for those people and other civil rights leaders from around the country to come and say, we're going to have this march from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama, for the right to vote. We went there last year to commemorate the Sunday, the Selma to Montgomery march. And that's a big distance.
40 miles.
And they couldn't do it in one day.
And now this year, myself, Pastor Robert Turner, so many others, we're marching across the bridge on Bloody Sunday. But on 3 a.m. Monday morning, we're actually going to march the 40 miles from Selma to Montgomery, all the way as Dr. King did, to really highlight the need for issues like reparations for poverty, for fair wages, for student loan debt. I mean, this is such a critical time right now, as you know, Reverend Wilson, historically to have those foot soldiers, these nameless persons faceless people who put their bodies on the line to face raging, ravaging dogs and horses and the brutality of these men with guns, tear gas, bats.
And they were blocking those marches under color of law, which means they were in uniform, acting as if they were licensed to beat and kill many of those people on that Edmund Pettus Bridge. You think police brutality is rough today?
Well, what we saw with Tyree Nichols, Bloody Sunday, was 100 times worse.
And I mean, they were beating and killing and maiming people who were merely marching across a bridge on their way to Montgomery to vote. And you look at that 40 miles, they didn't march it all in one day. Some people had to stop.
Yeah.
And there were no hotels,
there were
no
camps.
motels.
There were camps along the way.
They built camps along the way until they got to Montgomery.
Loudoun County was known not just for the Civil Rights Movement, but the Black Panther Party. Loudoun County was known to be notorious for brutality, for violence, and even murder of what they would call then freedom fighters.
That was the Klan. You saw the Klan, you see it in these movies. That was real. That was not some fantasy. That was real, and many of them were, by day, police officers, sheriff's police, and they put on that little white sheet and hood, and then they would beat people and kill people, burn crosses to send a signal to people, you can't do this.
What do you think, there is this known conflict between President Johnson and Dr. King, that it was strongly advised that Dr. King not go. After seeing Bloody Sunday, a week later, there's one of the most impactful moments in civil rights where they bring people from around the world, literally, to walk across that bridge.
Well, you remember at Bloody Sunday, you did not have all of the faith leaders.
You did not.
But after Bloody Sunday, every faith tradition, whether you were Muslim, Jewish, or whatever your faith tradition was, those high-ranking faith officials. I mean, you had the bishops of every denomination. You had the imams. They all decided, we're going across that bridge. And that's how the people made it, because you had a line, that front line was all faith people.
And I think the challenge for us today is so much in our culture is weaponized politically. This became a moral cause, a faith cause, a religious cause in terms of the humanity. And I think a lot of what happens in civil rights, people don't know the human dynamic. The benefit of the right to vote is not just good for black and brown people, it's good for all. It makes America work for everybody.
And I think that there's something about when people of faith decide to stand on the moral foundation, and you put that plumb line, and I remember watching on television these faith leaders say, we're going across the bridge.
Last year you and I,
we're going to make it to Montgomery.
We sat and stood at the on Edmund Pettus Bridge, and you see that sign. You can only but feel there's a body of water that runs under that bridge. You can only feel, I know you and I, we sat there as Vice President Kamala Harris addressed the crowd, and then Reverend Jackson's address was so compelling. But, as we talked earlier, it's like a rites of passage to not, you'd need to, I think.
I have been trying for years.
Yeah,
you got
to go across.
You got to go
it's
to
just,
Selma.
It doesn't cost you anything. It's one of the most inexpensive places you can go in the world. But the feeling.
To know what our people were willing to sacrifice. That's why I hear young people, I don't care about the right to vote. It means a lot. And it meant a lot. It meant so much that people gave up life that we might have the right to vote.
State Senator Hank Sanders
And his
and
wife.
Rose Fire Sanders and hundreds of foot soldiers
Whose
have
names I can't even,
we can't,
you don't know.
But
they was there.
kept Bloody Sunday alive, and Brown's Chapel is under reconstruction, will be at the Tabernacle Baptist Church on tomorrow. You gotta read about it, you gotta learn about it, and you gotta live it.
And in our churches this week, we should be talking about Bloody Sunday. What did it mean? Who was there? Why were they there? And what it means to the history of our people. No other race ignores their history. Bloody Sunday is a part of our history. And I'm very proud of what our people did to make sure that you and I can vote today. And you and I can go to the polls, we want to take a literacy test. Most of us would flunk the test that they gave. They couldn't even pass the test.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But you had everybody converging together. Lawyers were there, preachers were there, students were there from all around the country. People said, oh no, this cannot happen. And at that time, in order to save lives, President Kennedy and his brother, Robert Kennedy, they had to send troops to protect the marchers that next time so that they could cross that bridge. Because do know, the same people that were there on Bloody Sunday, they were prepared.
Well, you know what resonates is, we talk about Black Lives Matter and Black Voters Matter. We talk about the work of the Poor People's Campaign and Bishop William Barber. We talk about LaTosha Brown and Cliff, Transformative Justice, and Barbara Unwine and Attorney Darrell Jones. I think what resonates even more so now is the walk across the bridge that John Lewis said, let's get into some good trouble.
And he was knocked in the head, knocked down.
Yes, as a student leader.
He could have died on that bridge, as so many others did. Amelia Boynton, an ordinary woman who's the one invited Dr. King.
And we visited her grave, and it's off the side of the road. Reverend Jackson has told that story.
And then he took us to the site where a young white woman gave her life, Viola Liuzzo.
Yes.
And so there's so many people that were there that sacrificed life, limb for us. So you have to go to Selma. And we need to talk about Bloody Sunday this Sunday in all of our congregations. It's a somber moment.
It's First Sunday for a reason.
That's right.
What can wash away my sins? Nothing but the blood of Jesus. I want you to like, share, follow, and comment on all of our platforms as we are keeping hope alive. Long live the foot soldiers and the lives of those who walked across Edmund Pettus Bridge. As long as we remember them, they will not die. We will never, ever forget Bloody Sunday.
My life is a gift, but racism has shifted its joy equilibrium. Tilted off my square, some people don't want me here. I have to persevere and preserve my ancestry, but I'm so tired and thirsty for equality, drinking from secretly segregated water fountains, wading in troubled water meant to drown me. Luckily, I can swim. But what about the rest of them? It's hard to freely float when shackles limit strokes. Trying to steal my vote, storm the Capitol with guns in 2021. All because democracy won? If those people looked like me, would have been a different story. A tragic reality, but par for the course of Black life. Who will make it right? Can we finally just tell the truth? In classrooms, show the movie Roots, transatlantic slave trade, Tulsa, Rosewood, Henrietta Lacks, Chairman Fred Hampton, all heinous acts and all facts. If Little Women and anything by Mark Twain is required, then Langston Hughes and Zora Neale Hurston should equally be allowed to inspire. Music from the African diaspora should be held in the same esteem as their white counterparts who stole their dreams. Watch all 14 episodes of Eyes on the Prize and free yourself of the lies. Because without allies, Black people will continue to die right before our eyes. Much courage is needed for the enemies of Black people to be defeated. Apathy, inequity, racism, injustice must cease. We have to get along. Seek peace through policy and song. Stand strong, even if it's alone, for what's right. Embrace the human in us all at first sight. Matters not what our skin colors look like. Let's fight to end racial prejudice together. If not now, then when?
Take our homes, they take our names, they set behind four walls, is where we'll remain. Take our dreams, they pull us apart, but they never know our strength, they never know our hearts. We want freedom. We want freedom. We want freedom. We want freedom. Take our bread, they take our schools. They say that our only choice is to play their fool. Take our land, oh, take our rights, but they never know our power. We put up the fight. We want freedom. We want freedom. We want freedom. We want freedom. Show you purpose, and we'll show you might. We're gonna show all the reasons what's right is right. Break these walls, oh, break these chains. When trouble won't last always, where only love remains. We want freedom. We want freedom. Hey. We want freedom. 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 Oh, say, can you see? We're free, yeah. Oh, say, can you see? Oh, we're free, yeah. Oh, say, can you see? Yeah, we ain't free, yeah.
This is Bishop Tavis Grant. You know, every week we bring content to you, engagement to you, and information. And I'm always appealing to you to do something for us, as it is our duty to work for you. at the bottom of the screen. You can text the word PUSH to 41444. It was amazing this week. I got a call from Deacon Jordan here in the Chicagoland area asking for his pen as he has become a 2023 member. You know, as we go into the month of March, we're going to be celebrating women, and we're going to be celebrating motherhood, and we're going to be celebrating sisterhood. I want to challenge you this month for March as a part of our March Gladness campaign. I want you to make a contribution of $40. Now, it's $5 over a membership fee, but what it's going to afford us to do this month is make sure that we're able to provide the many services and the many needs that come to us on a daily basis when people either come to Dr. King's workshop here in Chicago or they dial that number 773-FREEDOM on the dial. There are times when seniors need medicine. There are times when families need food. There are times when individuals need transportation and or legal and or advocacy, and the Rainbow Push Coalition is there to answer the call. You afford us the opportunity. We don't receive funding like other organizations. Our funding comes from you, and you can make a difference right now by going to your phone and texting the word PUSH to 41444, or the several banking opportunities, giving opportunities, swiping opportunities at the bottom of the screen. You can dial that number yourself, 773-FREEDOM on your dial, and one of our faithful volunteers will be there to help you process your contribution. It affords us an opportunity to make sure people in crisis, people in trouble, receive the need and the assistance that we're able to provide. And guess what? You help Jesse Jackson keep hope alive. Give that contribution right now, and I'm going to make sure that you get your 2023 lapel pin to wear proudly and your membership card to show others that you're part of the fastest growing civil rights army on the planet, and you're walking alongside Jesse Jackson. I want to thank you in advance for helping us keep hope alive.
We're excited to get more people involved in Rainbow Push, supporting the programs of Push for Excellence and the Citizenship Education Fund. If you're interested in impacting public policies, if you believe in the scholarships that we give to thousands of students each and every year, you can become a policymaker by becoming a member of Rainbow Push right now. For an annual membership of $35, or if you're a student or senior, $15, you can help us make a difference in the lives of millions. How do you become a member? Visit our website at rainbowpush.org and press join. Or maybe you'd like to support us. You can text the word PUSH, that's PUSH, to 41444 on your cell phone, and you can give any amount you feel comfortable giving. You can also call us at 773-256-2775, or go to rainbowpush.org and push donate. Wherever you are, you can support us as we keep pushing for you.